Hey, what's up, Arrowheads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. My name is Ann Campea, also known as Rey, from the upcoming movie Star Wars The Force Awakens. And also joining me are three gentlemen who crack me up so much, starting with Josh Macuga to my right, also known as the Hood.
I'm not the Arrow, I'm the Hood.
You're the Hood.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
You're not worthy of the Arrow yet.
I'm definitely not worthy of the Arrow. Hey, Ann, how are you?
Hi.
What's up, guys? I'm
Good.
excited. This is fun. A little Halloween episode. You look great as Rey.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Also joining me to my left is Mr. Michael Medina,
Hey.
Superman.
Kingdom Come Superman. My name is Michael Medina. I sometimes go by the name Hey Boy. I don't know.
And last but not least, Jason Inman as Robin.
Hello, old chums. I even have a cape. Look, that's Velcro.
So cute. It's attached by Velcro, everybody. That's
My mom
awesome.
made my t-shirt.
Yes. Your mom made that, right?
No, Hot Topic made this.
Oh, dang.
So you guys,
Close
we're
enough.
so happy you're able to join us for our review and recap of Arrow for this week, Season 4, Episode 4, also known as Beyond Redemption. This is the show where we talk about our positives, negatives, take your Twitter questions, as well as give our predictions for next week's episode. So let's start with our overall impressions of this episode, because for me, personally, it wasn't my favorite. We are definitely in episode 4, so we are leading up to what will probably be episode 8 or 9, which would be the mid-season finale. It's not my favorite. I don't know what to say. I felt kind of average about it. Maybe closer to what Jason felt about last week's episode, where you were kind of like, it was okay. Josh, what about you?
I was somewhere in the middle. I thought Jason made some good points, which I'm sure he'll get to. It just seemed like a lot of dialogue. There was some really great acted scenes. And then I thought that the payoff itself was a little anticlimactic, to be honest with you. Overall, I thought, like you said, it's driving us somewhere. It was definitely like a turnpike episode. You know what I mean? Like we're in between rest stops, and I think there was a lot of droppings, hints. Droppings? Did I just make a
Droppings.
Gross.
to get us to somewhere? So I thought if that's what the episode we got, then they did okay.
All right. Michael?
I actually really enjoyed this episode. I know we were talking a lot about this while we were watching, and you're absolutely
Smart
right.
man.
Thank you. Seal of approval. No, this episode, I didn't expect any kind of real resolution to come at the. It was, like you said, it's just basically to help us get from point A to point B. But I think there were a lot of good scenes, well acted scenes that I really enjoyed what I was seeing.
Jason?
I like this episode. This was my favorite episode of season 4 so far, because this brought us back to what is good about Arrow: character moments.
Yep.
Having the conflict between two characters. You cannot tell me that Lance and Oliver scene where they finally get, like, where Oliver's like, I've wanted your respect for years, and Lance has been like, you've murdered people. Like, 4 years of the series finally came to a head in one scene. I will say that I think what you guys are commenting on, what didn't work for you, which is the same thing that didn't work for me, weak villain. Very weak villain.
Yep.
But everything else in the episode, we got a new Arrow layer. There's some new great mysteries going forward. Sara's in the episode.
Oliver announced his candidacy for mayor.
Yeah, we got the great speech at the end. Black Canary and Oliver Queen swung across the chasm. However you say that.
Whatever it was called.
There were a lot of great moments. A crevasse. There were a lot of great moments. This was a very great episode, I thought.
I agree. And I know you said
we are
this.
panel divided then.
Yes, we are. No, but you said it, and you pretty much hit the nail on the head as far as villains are concerned this season so far. I feel like we haven't seen enough Damien Dark.
Yes.
Maybe, if we continue to have really good character-driven episodes like this, I think I could live without it. But I would like to see some, just because like Neil McDonough is such an amazing actor, and when he is on screen, he's really good. Very much like John Barrowman.
Now,
as Merlin.
I want to throw out a quick Easter egg that I don't think anybody else, I didn't realize until I Googled it, but the bad villain of this episode, whose name is Lisa Warner, she is actually a DC Comics character. She is a DC Comics character called Lady Cop. And she
Get one of them lady cops out here.
No way.
It's an all-male driven thing. You can't have lady cops.
She's Caucasian in the comics, but she's Lady Cop, and you can see like the cover. Go Google it. The cover is like this girl in a Lady Cop costume fighting a dude with a whip, and she first appeared in first issue special number 4.
First issue special. Sounds like some cheesy like 80s film.
But
like
she was Lady Cop, so I think that's why she was the evil cop.
You know, I don't even know what to
First
say
you're
about
gonna let them
that.
vote, then you're gonna be cops. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But it just goes to show that the Arrow writers, that even if they introduce a throwaway character,
Yeah.
they still make sure to give them a DC name.
Of course. Let's not forget Neil Adams. His name is
Oh,
thrown
there,
around.
that was a big name
in
drop.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Neil
Great
Adams, the
artist.
guy
Green
who
Lantern,
gave
Green Arrow
yeah,
in the
and
70s.
He
and-
gave Green Arrow the Van Dyke beard,
Yep.
and he was the first artist ever to do that.
Ooh,
Yep.
really?
Yep. He is also the artist with Denny O'Neil who made Speedy a drug addict. So
big issue.
Yeah.
Big issue.
Yeah.
That is
Speedy
awesome.
likes her speed.
That was just something else we learned in this episode, right, Josh?
Yes.
Jesus. Well, I mean,
Let's start with that then, because I have three lines I wrote down.
okay.
You guys tell me if you caught any more, but I do want to, recap some of my favorite
Was
lines
one
of this
them the
episode.
Captain Lance.
Yes, that one too.
That one? Okay, good.
with
Got
it
it.
with his accent all mumbled. There was Thea procured a couple kilos of cocaine.
Just a couple.
There was also New Frequency, Same Cry.
Yeah. Woo.
Burn.
You Have Failed This City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Classic.
Yes.
And I feel like there was another, but I didn't write it down. But the lines in this episode were pretty good, with the exception of this New Frequency, Same Cry. I
Yeah,
could
that
do
didn't
without
work.
with
That
that
didn't
one.
work.
That didn't work.
That's definitely like an Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando type of line. New frequencies, same cry.
But they did use the canary cry quite a or scream. Sorry, what do you call it? But they used it quite a bit in this episode. I counted like 3 or 4 times.
I almost forgot that she had that Cisco made
had
that
to.
for
She
her.
hasn't
Yeah.
used it all season.
I had to.
This is the
But it was
first
interesting, too, that the villains had a way to counter it. Like, they
Yes.
knew about it somehow, which is really, really,
Well, I mean,
really weird.
They were a task force designed to take down the vigilantes, so I have to assume. Now, I don't know how they found out about the canary cry or whatever, but that was their job. That's what they were supposed to do.
So I have that in my positives. I don't know if you guys enjoy the canary cry or not, but I actually I don't mind
Well,
it.
she needs some sort of weapon that isn't, you know what I mean? Like, she needs to be able to disarm.
Yeah.
So I like the canary cry. Do I like when she goes like, no, not so much? But I think it's cool. I like it. I think it's a really cool device.
This is an ability that she has in the comics, so it is nice to actually see that and then put a little Cisco flair to it as well. I like it.
It also helps even her XP up a little bit because she's not as experienced as the rest of the
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a good point. And the
Right.
fact that she doesn't have to be meta to have that, ability is kind of nice. And she just has that, contraption that Cisco built for her. But I do like it. I don't like that she has to kind of step forward and pause for a second before she lets it out. It's like this whole buildup and setup to just even get to that point. But let's talk about positives because you guys threw out quite a few. I mean, I have Mayor Queen, the potential of Oliver running.
The brilliant scene at the very beginning where they introduced themselves to the old Sebastian Blood campaign headquarters. And then we had the secret elevator and we got to see the sweet new Arrow Cave. And I call it Arrow Cave. It was called Arrow Cave in the comic. Shut up.
Is there somebody over there?
I don't know.
You guys actually said it looked like a
yelling.
dance club.
It does. It looks like Verdant, spruced up a little bit.
Verdant,
yeah.
But you can tell like the directors were probably like because both their other layers were very confining and very dark, and this is very lit up, has a lot of colors. So the directors were like, we need new angles.
Yes.
It's like that Starsky and Hutch line. It's like, this is the dance floor. You can tell because there's lights on it.
Yeah.
It's like that's what the Arrow platform with all of Felicity's computers that aren't really working because they're getting the wiring a little mixed up. I did like the Arrow's new layer. I did like kind of what I like about it is that there's not like a back entrance where people are just like, oh, we found the Arrow. Like
Oh,
they
trust me,
legit
there
have
will
those-
be.
Yeah,
There will
Some
be at some
intern's
point.
gonna like accidentally get in the elevator and press
Yeah.
the right buttons.
No.
Because I guarantee you the combination's 52.
No, that's great. Michael, did you like the new layer?
I liked it. It looks really cool. Maybe a little too lit up for something like this, but it is TV. I like it. Very, very club-like, but it's good.
I
Huge.
think it's comparable to Star Labs, a
Which,
little bit.
Jason, you mentioned no locker rooms. So
Yeah.
we're just going to
Yeah,
suit
yeah.
up. We trust you. We're family. We're good. We know each
I
other.
was gonna see brother and sister naked, like and Diggle too. Sure.
I feel like all they have to do, like underneath their normal clothes, they just have like an Under Armour kind of thing, and that's what they like strip down to, and then they just put it on. So they always have like a little, like a little spandex,
Little
kinda thing.
onesie
Yeah, I don't
underneath?
think they're naked underneath those new suits, but I do like when they went into the new layer and it was like on MTV Cribs when you would go into like an athlete's locker and like all of his Jordans, they're like new outfits that Cisco designed.
Or it's like Real World where they walk into each room and are like, "This is my room. I'm
Yeah.
claiming this
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty. It was nice. Let's talk about Sara because Sara obviously she didn't have as much of a prominent role in this episode as I had thought based on the trailer we saw last week, but we did get a glimpse into the effects of the Lassie pit on her. I mean, Josh, did you kind of find it disturbing, or what did you think of seeing Sara in this episode?
There was something very like Chunk and Goonies about how they had her like tied up. Like chained up, and there was like I guess they had like a plate of food near her, but that scene when Laurel's like, "Look, we're a family." It was a little like you're teaching her to read. It was kind of campy. I did, however, like when they got close enough, and Laurel was like, "See, we're back," and then strangle. I did like that.
Laurel.
I thought she was kind of badass, but you can see that Sara is finding her way. Like I think that the scenes that they showed her, they just showed growth in her face without using any kind of dialogue, and then obviously the payoff at the end. I think I'm really excited the direction they're going to go with her. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I know we got a tease in the Legends of Tomorrow trailer, which I know has nothing to do with the show itself, but we know ultimately how she's going to end up. And we're going to see Constantine next week, so we're going to kind of get that much. So
I kind of feel that she was like left behind in this episode. Like I feel that she was a victim of scheduling. Like they were like, okay, we're gonna cure her in the Constantine episode, so we can't have her do anything in this episode. Okay, so we'll just do a couple scenes where you see her in the basement. All right, it's all right.
Yeah.
I will say, thanks to Sara, we had one of my favorite scenes in this episode was with Captain Lance.
Wanting to kill her.
Wanting to kill her. I thought that was a really good scene. I know we talked a lot about like character development, very character-driven episode, and that was a great scene. I thought we got a lot of good scenes in Lance.
This episode.
Yeah,
Yes,
really did,
I
yes.
agree.
Yeah.
Definitely a positive. I thought the dialogue between him and Oliver was really powerful. I like that actor. What's his name? Paul Blackthorne. Yeah,
Yep.
he's great. But Jason does an amazing impression of him, by the way.
Not that amazing. Not that amazing.
We should have written down his monologue too.
I wrote down his one line.
Oh, did you?
He says, I'll have to back up from the mic a little bit. Yeah. He says, "Don't come into my house and pass judgment on me."
Dude, you got the hand going and like the head moving. It's good. It's really good. I'm pumped.
But he totally killed it in this episode. Every scene, and that like. This is another positive for me of why this episode, because in season 3 I felt he was forgotten. Yeah. Like he just didn't matter. And this episode, by the way, my prediction last week was completely right that Captain Lance would walk into the Arrow Cave in this episode, and he did. Yeah. And I think this is setting up the perfect Commissioner Gordon relationship between the two of them. Although I did write down a note where if Oliver keeps going to his office and keeps having like meetings with them, and you keep like sliding evidence across the desk, one of the other cops are gonna notice, and they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute."
Except we've already been over the fact that the Star City PD is the worst.
Yeah,
there is not
and
a
so is
cop
the rest
there.
of the city. So like when Oliver went on TV and announced himself, you couldn't tell.
No,
I don't know.
No.
And I think this episode further solidified how bad SCPD is, right? Because not only
They're
are they
the worst.
corrupt, but they're just bad cops. They just everything
they have to
happens
fire half
to
the
them.
department now.
Yeah,
It
seriously.
wasn't
but-
just one corrupt cop either. There was like 7 of them stealing all that stuff.
Which I'm pretty sure there's only 10 people on that squad, so 7 of them are corrupt.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I have that in my negatives, though. But 2 more positives for me, flashbacks, as well as the interaction between Felicity and Mr. Terrific, kind of trying to figure out what potentially could be Jason's theory, which is that Ray is in the lair.
Well, yeah. Well, really quick, also, like there were more for my theory is that if you notice, the new Arrow Cave started fritzing. That's
I thought about
Ray's
that.
increasing his signal to get noticed.
Yep.
But I actually want to ask you a question, Ann. You have the island flashbacks as a positive.
Yes.
Now I want to hear from the whole panel. I think I'm done with this season's flashbacks already.
I don't think I'm done with it, but I'm feeling the same way I did watching season 3's flashbacks. I think I can't. One of you guys said this. It basically almost feels like they're just doing flashbacks for the sake of
Mr.
doing
Josh right there, yeah.
flashbacks. Yeah, because it's like the show's become. Thanks, buddy.
The hood.
The show's become known for its flashbacks.
Yes.
So I think at this point they're like, all right, I guess we got to put in a
Yeah.
flashback and just keep
Yeah.
it going. I'd much rather have a few episodes without a flashback. I'd be okay with that.
You know, they tried that in season 1. There are 2 episodes that don't have flashbacks, and I remember the producers saying that they brought them back because people complained.
But they were good in season 1 and 2.
And 2, yeah. And
Because they actually mattered.
Yes. Yeah. I say they should have never left the island for the flashbacks.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should have stayed on the island.
Because now I have no idea where in the timeline we are where Oliver is and versus when he's going to actually make it back to Starling City, because he Hong Kong, he went here, he's back on the island, he's the mercenary. I really don't care about what's going on in his past. We know he gets off the island somehow. How he gets that at this point, I don't really care. Just get me back to Starling City and the Queen for Mayor campaign, aka taking out Damien Dark with some dope-ass moves.
Now, I could be wrong here, but I could have sworn in one of the earlier episodes this season, didn't he already mention that he'd been on the island or been away for like 5 years or close to it? As far as like the timeline is concerned, I could have sworn he said something. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
I could
it's
be
5
off.
years.
It's
Well,
5
no,
years.
that's how
It's
long
5
he's
years.
been there, but I thought he had already made a reference to, I've been here for like almost 5 years now.
In the pilot episode, he says, "I've been on this island for 5 years."
But I thought this season, I'm just trying to find out
He
like
said
where
it
he
in
is
his-
currently in the
still,
timeline.
it's Oliver's 4th year.
Yeah.
It's his 4th year.
It's,
Okay.
it's still lined up.
Okay.
It just seems a little weird because we've done like 2 time jumps in Arrow. Like
Yeah.
in season 1 and 2, we did like, was it a 3-month time jump, and then in between these 2 seasons we did a 6-month time jump. But they're still lined up. See, there's still a couple of the problems with the islands. He has all these Russian tattoos on him. He doesn't have those in the flashbacks yet. And also in season 1, he spoke perfect Russian. When is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I think the pacing is a little off. I mean, that would be a negative, but I still enjoy the flashbacks so far in this season. I like that they're back on the island. That's part of the reason
dug seeing
why
the
I do
cave
like
again.
it.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn, similar to what we saw in Hong Kong, where it's just very much about character development for Oliver and kind of how we're learning how he reacts to kind of some of the things that are happening on the island. He's not necessarily a part of trying to, I don't know, murder all these people that are on the island growing the cocaine or whatever it is, opium. But
Growing the
we see slow
80
character
keys of
development in him, and I think that's what I like about it. And it also alludes to the comic that we like, which is that year one comic.
Green Arrow year 1.
Yeah. So again, I like it. I don't like the pacing. I think it's a little off, especially based on what we were experienced or exposed to in season 1, where the pacing was right on par with what was happening in present day. Whereas now it just does really
Yeah, the
slow
island
it
seems
down a little
so
bit.
much slower
Yeah.
than
It
everything
does.
else we're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. So going into negatives, I think for me, I would say that, again, the pacing of the island is not my favorite. I think I would like to see it catch up a little bit. But I remember speaking with Stephen Amell, and he said that the island flashback scenes would take us through the series, the entire series. And at some point, when he
Slowing
hits
it
the
back.
wall on the flashbacks, we would hit the wall for the actual entire episodes of Arrow. Like, we would end the series as well.
I see. I don't know if I believe that. I believe that this flashbacks will end in the end of season 5 because those are the 5 years. And I think if you don't think Arrow is getting to season 6, you're crazy town. It's going to season 6 because CW won't let it die. But it's a great show. That's fine. So they'll just stop the flashbacks.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. The flashbacks will just disappear.
And I'd be
think they'll
fine with
catch
that as
up?
long as the show was good.
Yeah,
I
think once they catch up, I think one of the final moments we'll see in the season finale of season 5 will be him launching that arrow with the long hair that we
That's what
saw
I
in the
keep
pilot.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Is that arrow exploding on that
Yep.
ship?
Any other negatives? Michael, what about you?
My negative again with the flashback. And I know this might contradict what I said earlier, but again, I'd like to see a little bit more Damien Dark. I know earlier I said, hey, if we have great character-driven episodes, I'm fine with that. But at the same time, he's such a fantastic actor. I'd like to see good, not throwaway villains. I know like Double Down was kind of a throwaway villain. I'd like to see a good villain. Even if it's not Damien Dark, I'd like to introduce someone else that can maybe be a major player this season.
I think we are going to get that. I think this episode, setting up with Constantine and the Lazarus Pit because Dark knows about the Lazarus Pit because he was in the league, all that kind of stuff. He's going to come in, and when he does come in, it's going to be awesome. I'm pretty pumped about it. I think my biggest negative of this episode, though, was when Speedy goes to buy the Coke, and she says, yeah, I need 80 keys. You know how I like to party. You like to party as an international drug smuggler? You know how much 80 kilos of coke is? They talk about that in Blow. Like, people will go to jail forever for that. Having
So
that much
much.
coke. You can't just buy that off a street dealer outside of a club.
She's the
This is the
she's the
CW.
Scarface of Star City. Yo.
Say hello to my little friend. It is. That was just terrible writing. And then they go back. It's yeah, she's gonna pick up a couple keys of coke. It's not milk. Finding that much cocaine is really, really difficult.
Cargo ships full.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God. That just. Other than that, I didn't have a ton of negatives. Oh, overall, again, it was a little bit of a slower moving episode, which I know you guys were totally into. It wasn't totally my speed, but I can appreciate what it was great for, which you guys pointed out, which were the character, the scenes,
and another positive, they brought back the end montage, which we haven't seen in
Yeah.
a while,
Yeah.
and this one actually mattered.
I know. I like the end montage. Big fan.
Yeah.
Jason, anything?
That's it, end montage.
Really?
Can we do a montage on here? That'd be great.
You know what? And going back to my
Can we do like a
positives,
training montage, getting ready for the show?
One other thing I did like was that Oliver made his, campaign speech, and it was very much word for word his speech at the beginning of this, of Arrow. I've been on this island or whatever.
5 years in hell.
5 years in hell. Like, it was very much the same thing. I don't really particularly care that Thea is his new campaign manager, so I had that in my
It's a little
negatives.
weird, but
It's a little odd.
Boy, she did run Verdant at the age of like 17 or 18, like barely out of high
before
school.
she could even have a liquor license.
She was born in upper management. She never really had to get
True.
there.
Yeah.
The thing that I always wonder in these situations is like, who is he running against? Can he just be like, hey, I want to be mayor? Because they keep talking about like every time somebody runs for mayor, they get killed because there's not a mayor. They don't really even talk about who is currently the mayor.
Somebody in the comments last week actually said they think it'd be interesting if it was Damien Dark.
That'd be cool.
So he's fighting him behind the shadows and in the public. I don't know if they'll go for that, but that's an interesting twist.
Well, I
think
thought
so.
we were going to get that with Blood. I did, but I mean, I guess that
Blood
didn't
was
happen.
always the patsy for
No.
Slide Wilson.
And Lady Cop, don't forget her.
Lightning.
So I do have one more negative for myself, and I'm really sorry for all the Laurel lovers
Oh,
out
boy.
there.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get crushed.
Okay, I'm not going to say.
No, you got it.
now,
now.
now you have
You
to.
have to.
She was just a little weak for me this episode. I'm like, Laurel, you are better than this. Like, why are you saying that Sara is the same Sara that that she was before she died? She is clearly not.
Well,
She
especially
is
when
crazy.
she's sitting in the corner just goes,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, stop lying to yourself. It's not true.
Like Josh earlier, you said how she's just like, hey, look, Dad, and then she just like throws
Yeah.
a change around her neck. Like, you gotta be a little smarter than that.
Right. I
That's
will say,
all.
besides the scene where she's like trying to teach her how to read her, her ABCs, right, her baby Einstein videos, that she, I thought she had a really good episode this
Yeah,
time.
she
I
did.
actually agree with you.
She did.
Yeah.
I actually thought she kind of kicked some butt.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of her just being a little, naive, she was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm outnumbered. Then 3 out of 4.
Another
Good.
negative that
We're
I
just
had.
placating to the fans at this point.
Another negative that I had was on the island. The country bumpkin guy, Ryan Robbins, I believe is the actor name. We figured out last name.
Oh, let's call him Daryl.
He finds the Argus satellite dish thing that Oliver hid under like 3 weeds. and I literally wrote down a note. I was like, Oliver is the worst at hiding things.
He's terrible at
You have
it.
this whole island.
He has a
at your
cave.
disposal.
He could dig a hole and put things. He just was like, shove it
He
over
put
there.
I put it in a tree, put 2 leaves on top.
Yeah, like when you were a kid, your mom's like, "Did you clean your room?" and everything's just under the bed. Pull it out. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so I guess positives, negatives, pretty solid episode for all of us, I think. Let's go into the Twitter questions for this week because I think there are some good ones. So starting with Carrie, who asked, wait, so now Thea is his speechwriter and campaign manager? Did she even graduate high school?
Listen, okay, let me vouch for Thea. I'm a big Thea fan. She can do no wrong. She ran a club at 17. She bought 80 kilos of coke off a random street. She can do anything. Write a speech, run a campaign. I mean, how hard's running a campaign when you're the only man running for mayor? I'm taking Thea. Graduate high school. Who does that anymore?
I
Kids?
pass, Michael.
I agree with everything you just said. Nothing else needs to be
I
said.
mean, there's nothing to say that she didn't graduate high school off camera.
Yeah.
But she was in high school the very first season. Like, she was her
Yes.
senior year of high school. But again, I always thought it was funny in the second year, she was supposed to be like 17 or 18. And she was running a liquor club.
Yeah. It is. Well, yeah. I mean, it's Starling City.
Yeah. Anything goes.
In the Glades?
Yep.
Next question comes from Paul Gaston, who asks, do you think Constantine's appearance on the show could actually predate the end of Constantine season 1 continuity-wise? It's a good question.
What would we prefer? That's I think that's a more interesting question.
Ah,
What would we prefer? Because to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to reference the Constantine TV show that much.
Me too. For me personally, I feel like they should just start fresh. Take the
Yeah.
Constantine character, take the actor, but then just kind of start anew with it.
How would they even reference it? Like, I used to be in a pretty sweet show, and they canceled it. So now I'm here. I'm actually doing a play. Like, I get that there's some references and some eggs that you could throw at the show.
Yes.
I'm with you on this one. Just make Constantine part of Arrow and forget that we had that show and what was on. We don't need any crossovers, whatever. Constantine himself is an amazing character.
Yeah.
The only thing I need out of that appearance is I need him to make a phone call to somebody and go, Chaz, I need come pick me up. That's all I need. That's the only reference you need to that original show and to the comic books.
That really is. I'd much rather it actually happen once the show's done, so you can just be like done with that, move forward, kind of like what you were saying, and just fresh start.
And if he's got a picture of Keanu Reeves in his wallet,
It's all good. It's all good.
Next question comes from William L. Williams, who asked, do you guys think the crossover this season will involve both Dark and Vandal Savage, and do you think they are associates? So for me, I had to ask our gurus over here who Vandal Savage is, because I'm not aware of who that is. So for those of us who don't know, can you guys kind of give us a quick...
Just a heads up, I believe,
You got
reading
this
off Wikipedia, that Vandal Savage is actually the lead singer of Savage Garden.
There it
in the
is.
90s, early 2000s pop group.
We're done. No, he was a kid. That's it.
That went over every 20-year-old's head right now, maybe even 25, I don't know.
Sorry.
Now, my knowledge is a little rusty. It's been a while, but I know he was like a caveman and discovered some. What was it? I want to say it's like a meteorite. Or some sort.
Yep.
Yeah, that gave him the ability to pretty much live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what. So I mean, this is a guy that's like thousands of years old. So he's seen it all.
It's
He's
exhausting.
Yeah, he's an immortal. He's basically an immortal.
Exactly. So he's super intelligent, super wealthy, very well to do. I don't think they're going to be business associates, but I think they're going to perhaps in the crossover at least work together.
Well, it's already been revealed that Vandal Savage is going to show up on Arrow. He's going to be introduced on Arrow before Legends of Tomorrow.
There you
So
go.
I assume they've got to know each other, but I have a feeling that Vandal Savage would look at Damien Dark as an ant. He just wouldn't care about Damien Dark.
So was
Yeah.
Vandal Savage? Vandal Savage wasn't in the league. Well, is he in the league? Was in the league?
No, he's always his own man.
Oh, okay.
He's his own thing. He's his own man, you know?
So they weren't like him and Damien Dark weren't like college buddies or something like
No.
that?
No.
Okay. I didn't know. Thank you for that. And then
And it sounds like Damien Dark, the way you've described it, Vandal Savage would be up here and Damien Dark would be
Well, you also
down
think
here.
about, like, Legends of Tomorrow is the show about time travel, right?
Yeah.
So to fight a villain on that show, you've got to have a villain that spans time. Compared to a guy that is just around in a business suit, it's not an ant.
now, if you were to call Damien Dark an ant, I would love to see what the Arrow writers would do.
Well,
to you. Get your hand off my arm.
I would bow to the altar that is Neil McDonough.
Yeah.
I would.
All right, so that's going to do it for our Twitter questions for this week. Let's go into our predictions for next week's episode. We did have a chance to get a glimpse into what is in store for us. We saw Constantine, obviously, and potentially Sara. I don't know. What do you think, Josh? What's going to happen?
I think we're going to finally, well, not finally, but I think we're going to see Sara actually talking and as a person, and we're probably, hopefully, going to see what her motives are, like what her direction is going to be, which is exciting. And I think that Constantine in the Arrow world is going to be like an awesome comic relief, which I'm pumped about because we never laugh in the show unless it's something goofy in action.
Unintentional.
Yeah, unintentional
Yes.
laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I love that they're bringing Constantine in. I love the introduction of magic into this world. That's going to be exciting to see how they use that. I feel like we're going to get that moment where potentially they're going to send Sara back into the grave, and then she's going to kind of become aware of what's happening and have that emotional moment where we're like, hold on, Sarah's back. Do we really want to see her go away? That's what I think. Michael?
I think we're going to have a breakthrough in this episode with the whole Ray in hiding. I think, Mr. Terrific, I think he's going to figure something out. Because I know, like, if Felicity puts in password as the password and gets that low, here's what's going on. So I think something is going to happen. Maybe she might even figure it out that he's, in fact, like you said, possibly hiding out in the room somewhere.
By the by, the casting of Mr. Terrific, fantastic. I
Great.
love
He's
that
great.
actor.
Great.
He's really, really likable.
Yeah.
I think you're jumping the gun.
Really?
I think the next episode you got to think about, okay, why didn't we just cure Sara in this episode? Because this was Lance's episode.
Yeah.
So next episode's all about Constantine. It'd be too busy to put Ray in there, so we're gonna push Ray back. I think Ray's another episode away.
Okay.
I think the next episode Sara will be cured. Sara will be normal. She'll be perfectly fine. She'll make fun of Laurel's costume. I think Constantine and Lance are going to have a scene because you've got to have your resident Englishmen make fun of each other. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think Constantine, to save Sara, will do some big elaborate magic spell, because this season's all about magic, take the darkness out of her, cure her. But that darkness has got to go somewhere.
Oh.
And that's going to come and bite them in the ass later down. There's a price for anything you do mystical, and that's going to be the price. This
point.
darkness is going to attack them.
Plus, I
Danger.
think we're also going to get a reference to some extent of his group, Team Constantine. Maybe he'll make a phone call
or something.
Or something.
I, to be honest with you, I hope this episode goes over like gangbusters, because I would love to see Constantine like come back like in the finale.
Yeah.
Like he just fits in this world so perfectly.
Absolutely.
I hope he comes back.
And he's just such a great actor.
We haven't even seen the episode, and we're always like, God, come back.
Come on, Constantine. I don't think you mean Team Constantine. I think you mean Constantine.
So I'm going to take back everything I just predicted and then erase everything, erase, and go with everything that Jason said, because apparently everything he says is correct.
Yeah, just go with Jason and Michael. I'm over here just being a jerk. Okay,
Yeah,
you guys.
erase all this
Team
half
Red.
of the panel.
I failed
right
this
here.
show tonight. I'm sorry.
We are 100% wrong on this side, and
You
they
don't
are
come into this
100%
recap,
right.
Joel. You can tell me that.
This is getting crazy. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Arrow Recap Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hopefully we weren't too bonkers for you guys. If you guys want to continue the conversation, make sure to tweet us using the hashtag #ColliderArrow, as well as leave a comment under this week's episode in the comment section of YouTube. Subscribe to Collider Video as well. Jason, where can people follow you if they want to tell you your theories are all correct?
Oh, great, or wrong, whatever. Yeah, I get both.
He's the local oracle.
At Jawin, Jawin. That's Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube.com/Jawin. I'm all there.
And Michael, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis, as well as the Collider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show with that guy over there that's sometimes wrong.
And one day Michael will have an Instagram.
One day
He
it
will have
happen.
one.
It will happen.
Pressure him.
Sooner than you think.
We just keep tagging random people in your pictures.
I'm like your mom trying to be cool. Hey, Joshy, how does Instagram work?
Michael Medina.
We're going to make an
Wrong
account
one.
for him,
Yeah.
as well as to my right,
I'm
Mr.
Josh Macuga. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook at Josh Macuga. Our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
of
Marvel's
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here on Collider, as well as The Walking Dead, and my YouTube channel, Between the Sheets TV. So when you guys see me commenting from Between the Sheets, that's me. And don't fail this city.
And make sure to follow Josh and join in his Movember campaign as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, and you guys can follow me at Ann Campea on all the various social media sites, including Instagram. I do have Instagram, as well as Snapchat and Twitter. That will do it for this week's episode. Again, tweet us at #ColliderArrow and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode. Until next week, everybody. Hood up.